My beloved child, pause for a breath right now. This moment is not accidental. January 28 carries a weight that your spirit already feels, even if your mind cannot yet explain it. There is a quiet tension in the air, a crossroads hidden beneath ordinary hours. This message appears today because heaven has marked this date, and Archangel Michael stands watch, sword lowered but ready, waiting to see what you will choose. You may have felt it since morning, a strange restlessness, a pull to stop scrolling, a sense that something important is hovering just out of reach. That is not imagination. It is your spirit responding to a divine signal. When Archangel Michael steps forward with a message, it is never casual. It is always about alignment, protection, and timing. And timing is everything today. Hear this clearly. A moment of decision is unfolding for you. Not loud, not dramatic, but decisive. The kind of decision that quietly rearranges the next chapter of your life. Heaven is not forcing you. Heaven is inviting you. What you do after hearing this will determine how quickly certain doors open or remain closed. Archangel Michael reveals that this message appears today because you are standing between delay and movement. For weeks, maybe months, you have been asking for clarity, protection, or change. You prayed in your own way, sometimes with words, sometimes with silence. Today is heaven's response. But responses require receivers. Messages require action. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. There are paths that only appear when you slow down long enough to notice them. That is why you were asked to pause. Rushing past this moment would mean missing an alignment that has been carefully arranged on your behalf. Archangel Michael speaks of spiritual timing like a gate that opens briefly, not to punish those who miss it, but because every soul must learn discernment. Some gates open again later. Some require a long detour if ignored. Today's gate is connected to courage. The courage to respond instead of postpone. The courage to say yes instead of later. You may be wondering, respond how? The response begins internally. It starts with honesty. Admit what you have been avoiding. Admit what you already know but have been delaying. Archangel Michael does not come to confuse you. He comes to confirm what your heart has been whispering all along. There is something in your life that has reached its decision point. A conversation, a commitment, a habit, a direction. You have been protected up to this point so you could arrive here safely. Protection was not the end goal. Preparation was. And now preparation meets choice. January 28 is not random. It carries a spiritual echo of accountability and activation. Archangel Michael reveals that when you respond in time, momentum shifts quickly. What felt stuck begins to move. What felt heavy begins to lift. But when you delay, the weight lingers, not as punishment but as consequence. Listen carefully to this next truth. Responding does not mean everything changes instantly. It means you align yourself with what is ready to change. Think of it like stepping onto a moving walkway. The moment you step on, the motion begins carrying you forward. But you must step. Archangel Michael is near you now, not as a distant symbol, but as a guardian presence. He sees the unseen pressures you carry. He sees the battles you never talk about. His message today is simple but firm. Do not underestimate small obediences. A pause, a prayer, a decision made quietly but sincerely. You are not late, but you are on time only if you act. That is the mystery of this day. Heaven meets you halfway, but you must take your step. Many people will hear this message. Fewer will respond. A difference is where outcomes diverge. If you feel emotion rising as you listen, do not suppress it. Emotion is often the soul recognizing truth. Archangel Michael says this is not about perfection. It is about willingness. Even a trembling yes opens more than a confident no ever could. Right now, something is being sealed in the spiritual realm. Your awareness of this moment is part of that sealing. Take this seriously, but do not take it with fear. Take it with reverence. You were trusted with this timing because you are capable of responding. As this message settles, notice what comes to mind first. That is not random. That is the area being highlighted. Do not overthink it. The first nudge is usually the truest. Archangel Michael does not shout. He directs. Stay with this message. Let it finish its work in you. What comes next carries clarity you do not want to miss. My cherished one, as this message continues, feel how the atmosphere gently shifts. What began as a pause now deepens into awareness. This is how Archangel Michael works, not by rushing you, but by steadying you so you can see clearly. When the noise fades, truth becomes louder. And right now, truth is pressing closer to your heart. You are not here by chance. The reason this message keeps unfolding is because your spirit is still listening. Many people hear the beginning of a warning or a promise, but only a few stay present long enough to understand what it requires of them. Archangel Michael reveals that discernment is your greatest protection today. Not strength, not speed, discernment. There have been signs around you lately that you may have dismissed as coincidence. A repeated thought, a phrase you keep hearing, a delay that forced you to stop when you wanted to move fast. These were not interruptions. They were signals. Heaven often speaks softly before it speaks clearly. You are now in the phase of clarity. This moment of decision is not about choosing between good and bad. It is about choosing between comfort and growth. Comfort feels safe, familiar, predictable. Growth feels uncertain, demanding, and sometimes lonely. Archangel Michael stands with those who choose growth, not because it is easy, but because it leads to freedom. You may feel resistance rising inside you even now. That resistance is not failure. It is evidence that something real is being challenged. When a door is insignificant, there is no resistance. Resistance appears only when a threshold matters. Today's threshold matters more than you realize. Archangel Michael shows that what changes when you respond in time is not only external circumstances, but internal authority. You stop doubting your own spiritual instincts. You stop outsourcing your decisions to fear or approval. You begin to trust the quiet strength God placed within you. That is a powerful shift. Think about how long you have been preparing without realizing it. The disappointments that refined you, the delays that matured you, the losses that stripped away illusions. None of it was wasted. All of it was leading to this kind of moment, a moment where you are no longer reacting, but choosing. This is also why this message appears today and not yesterday or tomorrow. Today, your heart is ready to hear it without distortion. Yesterday, fear may have been louder. Tomorrow, distraction might take over. Today, the balance is just right. Heaven's timing is precise. As you listen, notice how your breathing slows. That is your nervous system recognizing safety. Archangel Michael's presence does not bring panic. It brings order. When divine order enters, confusion begins to dissolve. You may not have all the answers yet, but you now know which direction peace is pointing. There is also something important you need to understand. Responding in time does not mean acting impulsively. It means acting honestly. It means no longer pretending you do not see what you see, no longer minimizing what God hath been highlighting. Truth requires response, even if that response is simply, I am ready to take the next right step. Archangel Michael speaks strongly about integrity in this season. Integrity is alignment between what you know and what you do. When those two come together, power flows naturally. When they are divided, energy drains. You have felt that drain before. Today offers restoration. You are being invited into a partnership, not a performance. Heaven is not asking you to prove anything. Heaven is asking you to participate. Participation changes outcomes. Silence keeps cycles repeating. If this message is resonating with you, do not keep it to yourself. This is a moment where shared awareness multiplies impact. Take a second to show your support. Like this video so it reaches others who need this confirmation. Share it with someone who has been feeling uncertain lately, and leave a comment declaring that you are choosing clarity over confusion. Subscribe to this channel and join the community if you haven't already, because messages like this are not meant to be one-time encounters. They are part of an ongoing journey of alignment and protection. Before you move on, stay present with what is being revealed. There is another layer coming that connects directly to your next steps. Hold on, because what follows brings understanding that can change how you move forward from this very day. My precious soul, as this message deepens, something subtle but powerful is happening within you. What once felt distant is now becoming personal. This is the work of revelation. Archangel Michael steps closer in moments like this, not to overwhelm, but to strengthen your inner resolve. You are not being rushed. You are being readied. There is a reason your attention has not drifted away. Your spirit recognizes that this is more than information. This is instruction. Archangel Michael reveals that decisions of destiny are rarely announced with thunder. They arrive quietly, wrapped in discernment, waiting to see who will honor them. You have been standing at an inner threshold. On one side is the familiar pattern, old cycles, repeated emotions, predictable outcomes. On the other side is something new, not fully visible yet, but deeply aligned. Crossing this threshold does not require permission from anyone else. It requires agreement within yourself. You may have felt torn recently. Part of you wanting to move forward, another part clinging to what feels safe. This inner tension is not weakness. It is evidence that transformation is near. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where hesitation must give way to intention. Notice how often you have been guided to pause lately. Not because you are stuck, but because clarity grows in stillness. Heaven often slows us down right before acceleration. What feels like delay is actually calibration. Your heart, your mind, and your spirit are being aligned so you can move without regret. This message appears today because you are strong enough to carry what comes next. Not everyone is given awareness at the same time. Some are still being prepared. You are being invited. Invitation is a sign of trust. Archangel Michael does not guard those who are passive. He guards those who are willing. There is also a release happening. Old guilt, old self-blame, old narratives that told you that you missed your chance. Hear this clearly now. You did not miss it. You were being positioned. The fact that you are hearing this now proves that timing is still working in your favor. Responding in time does not mean you will never face challenges again. It means you will face them with authority instead of fear. It means you will stop second-guessing every spiritual nudge. It means you will begin to move with intention instead of reaction. Archangel Michael speaks of courage not as boldness but as consistency. Small, faithful steps taken in alignment create momentum that no resistance can stop. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to honor the step in front of you. There is something else being activated today, your voice. You have held back at times, thinking silence would keep the peace. But silence has cost you clarity. Archangel Michael reminds you that truth spoken with humility is a form of protection. You are allowed to express what is real. As this realization settles, you may feel both relief and responsibility. Relief because things finally make sense. Responsibility because awareness invites action. This is where many people turn away, not because they disagree, but because they fear change. But you are still here. This is your confirmation. Heaven sees your willingness. The moment you say yes internally, help is released externally. You will not walk forward alone. Protection moves ahead of you. Wisdom walks beside you. Strength follows behind you. Take a breath and receive this final instruction for this moment. Do not rush away from what is being stirred in you. Let it settle. Let it take root. This is how transformation begins, not with noise, but with agreement. Type "I receive divine clarity" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Lesson code 444 has just been released. If this message has reached you at the exact moment you needed it, understand this: it did not arrive by chance. I am speaking to those who feel the weight of responsibility to help light reach others who are still searching. When you sow into this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil into a lamp that guides lost hearts toward truth. The word says that those who water others will themselves be refreshed, and this is God speaking directly to you now. I feel led to tell you that your obedience in this moment opens a harvest far beyond what you can see. This act is not a donation. It is a prophetic response to what you have just received. I bless every seed you release to return to you multiplied, protected, and filled with peace. Step forward now and activate what heaven has already stirred in your heart. Beloved one, as you move deeper into this message, understand that something unseen is rearranging itself around you. What felt like an internal shift is now beginning to touch the external world. Archangel Michael reveals that after a decision is acknowledged in the spirit, alignment follows in the natural. This is where patience and faith must walk together. You may notice subtle changes already. People responding differently to you. Situations that once felt heavy now feel neutral. Or moments where you expected resistance, yet peace appeared instead. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Heaven responds quickly when a heart aligns sincerely. Archangel Michael speaks now of endurance. Not the endurance that grits teeth and pushes through pain, but the endurance that trusts timing even when outcomes are not yet visible. You are learning to remain steady without needing immediate proof. That is maturity. That is strength. There is a temptation at this stage to second-guess what you felt earlier, to wonder if you imagined it, to question whether you are truly hearing correctly. This is where many lose momentum. Not because they made the wrong decision, but because they revisit it too often. Archangel Michael warns against reopening doors that have already been closed in the spirit. Once you agree internally, honor that agreement. You do not need to rehearse it endlessly. You do not need to defend it to everyone. Some confirmations are meant to be lived, not explained. Silence, when guided, can be a powerful form of trust. This part of the journey teaches you restraint. The old version of you may have rushed to announce every realization. The new version learned discernment. You share when led, not when pressured. Archangel Michael stands guard over your boundaries now, helping you recognize what deserves access to your energy and what does not. You may feel moments of loneliness in this refinement. That does not mean you are unsupported. It means you are being reoriented. Some connections fade not because they were bad, but because they were seasonal. Grieving them is natural, but clinging to them will slow what is unfolding. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection does not always look like rescue. Sometimes it looks like removal. Sometimes it looks like silence where there used to be noise. Do not mistake quiet for absence. Often, quiet is where strength is rebuilt. There is also a deeper layer of trust being asked of you now. Trust in what you sensed. Trust in the pause you honored. Trust that responding in time was enough, even if the outcome is still forming. Faith does not require full visibility. It requires consistency. You are being trained to move without constant reassurance. Not because heaven is distant, but because you are becoming stable. A child needs repeated reminders. A mature soul learns to walk with internal conviction. This transition may feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Archangel Michael shows that what comes next in your life will require steadiness. Emotional steadiness. Spiritual steadiness. Isian steadiness. That is why this phase feels quiet. Foundations are laid in silence, not applause. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself during this time. Words carry authority. If you speak doubt, you empower it. If you speak truth, you reinforce alignment. You do not need dramatic declarations. Simple honesty is enough. I trust what I receive. That sentence carries weight. There may also be a test of patience approaching. Not to frustrate you, but to confirm your readiness. When the test comes, it will look ordinary. A familiar trigger. A familiar option. A chance to revert. That is when your earlier decision becomes real. Archangel Michael assures you that you will recognize the test when it appears. It will feel like a fork in the road that you have walked before. This time, your response will be different. Not forced, not anxious, simply clear. As you pass this point, something lifts. The inner tension eases. You will realize that you are no longer negotiating with yourself. Peace settles not because everything is perfect, but because everything is aligned. Stay grounded. Stay attentive. Do not rush the process. What is unfolding has weight, and weight requires structure. You are being structured now. Let this message anchor you. You do not need to chase what is coming. It is already moving toward you. Your role is to remain faithful to the clarity you were given, and steady in the days that follow. There is more that will be revealed, layer by layer, as you continue to listen. Remain open. Remain willing. The path ahead is unfolding exactly as it should. My beloved one, as this message continues, you may begin to sense a deeper calm settling within you. This calm is not emptiness. It is clarity taking root. Archangel Michael reveals that after alignment comes stabilization, a phase where the soul learns to rest without losing momentum. This is where strength becomes quiet but unshakable. You are no longer in the stage of questioning whether you heard correctly. You are now learning how to live from what you heard. This transition is subtle but powerful. It shifts your focus from signs to stewardship. What you have received must now be carried with care. There may be moments when the world around you feels unchanged, and that can feel confusing. But internal change always precedes external evidence. Archangel Michael says, do not measure progress by noise or speed. Measure it by peace. If peace has increased, alignment is working. You might also notice a new sensitivity to what drains you. Certain conversations feel heavier. Certain environments feel louder. This is not weakness. is discernment sharpening. When your spirit is aligned, it no longer tolerates what once felt normal. This is also a time where discipline gently enters your life. Not harsh rules, but intentional choices. You begin to guard your time more carefully. You become selective with your energy. Archangel Michael guides you to protect what has been activated within you, because not everyone needs access to your process. You may feel drawn to simplify, fewer distractions, clear priorities. This is not loss. This is refinement. Heaven often removes excess so focus can sharpen. What remains becomes meaningful. There is also a quiet invitation to trust your pace. Comparison will try to re-enter your thoughts, especially when you see others moving quickly. But speed is not always progress. Archangel Michael reminds you that some paths require depth before distance. You are building something that must last. You might face a moment where old fears resurface, asking if this path is worth it. Those fears are echoes, not indicators. They come from past versions of you who did not yet know what you know now. Acknowledge them without obeying them. This phase teaches you emotional self-leadership. You learn to feel without being controlled by feeling. You learn to pause before reacting. You learn that silence can be an answer. These skills are not accidental. They are preparation. Archangel Michael reveals that protection is increasing around you now, not because danger is near, but because value is. What is valuable attracts attention. Guarding your heart and mind becomes essential. You do not need to share every insight or explain every choice. As you settle into this rhythm, you may experience moments of joy that feel unexpected. Small things bring satisfaction. Peace feels tangible. These are signs of alignment. Joy often returns quietly after clarity is embraced. You are also learning patience with others. As you grow, differences become more visible. Not everyone will understand your choices, and that is okay. Understanding is not required for alignment. Respect is. Archangel Michael encourages you to remain humble during this phase. Confidence and humility can coexist. You do not need to announce your growth. Let it speak through consistency. There may be a subtle shift in how you pray or reflect. Less asking, more listening. Less urgency, more trust. This is maturity in communication with the divine. Silence becomes sacred rather than uncomfortable. Remember, stabilization does not mean stagnation. Movement continues, but it is internal before it is external. Roots deepen before branches extend. This is a law of growth. If at any point you feel uncertain, return to the moment you first paused. Remember what you felt. That memory is an anchor. Archangel Michael says anchors keep ships steady, not stationary. Continue to walk gently but firmly. Do not rush what is still forming. The structure being built within you will support what is coming next. Stay present. Stay faithful. The unfolding is steady, and you are exactly where you need to be. My dear one, as this message carries you forward, you are entering a phase where awareness turns into responsibility. What you have received is no longer fragile, but it is still sacred. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the stage where many people unknowingly lose momentum, not because they turn away, but because they become careless with what was entrusted to them. You are being guided to remain intentional. There is a new level of attentiveness awakening in you. You notice patterns more clearly now. You sense when something aligns and when it does not. This is discernment maturing. It does not make you suspicious. It makes you wise. Archangel Michael stands beside you as a guardian of wisdom, helping you separate urgency from importance. You may feel an increased desire to bring order into areas of your life that were once neglected. Thoughts, schedules, commitments, even rest. This is not pressure. This is alignment expressing itself practically. When the inner world shifts, the outer world begins to reorganize. Be mindful during this phase not to overload yourself. Sometimes clarity brings enthusiasm, and enthusiasm can lead to overcommitment. Archangel Michael advises balance. Saying yes to the right thing often requires saying no to distractions that look good but lead nowhere. There may be moments when others sense that something has changed in you, even if they cannot name it. Some will be drawn closer. Others may pull away. Neither response is wrong. Alignment naturally rearranges relationships. What matters is that you remain anchored. This is also a time when your consistency matters more than your intensity. You do not need grand gestures. Small, repeated choices build stability. Archangel Michael emphasizes that heaven trusts those who are faithful in quiet seasons, because quiet seasons reveal true character. You might notice a desire to revisit old ideas or dreams that once felt impossible. They return now not to torment you, but to be reevaluated through a new lens. What was premature before may now be possible. Timing changes everything. As you continue, do not isolate yourself unnecessarily. Growth does not require withdrawal from life. It requires discernment within it. Stay connected to what nourishes you spiritually and emotionally. Community, when chosen wisely, strengthens alignment. If this message has been guiding you and you feel its importance, take a moment to engage with it actively. Like this video so the message could reach others standing at their own moment of decision. Share it with someone who has been feeling uncertain or restless. Leave a comment affirming what you are receiving, because spoken alignment reinforces internal conviction. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected, because these messages are part of a larger journey, not isolated moments. Archangel Michael also highlights the importance of gratitude in this phase. Gratitude keeps your heart soft while your resolve grows firm. Thankfulness protects you from pride and despair alike. Even quiet gratitude carries power. There may be days when progress feels slow. Resist the urge to measure yourself against imagined timelines. Heaven's pace is intentional. What is being formed within you cannot be rushed without being weakened. Trust the process you have already agreed to. You are also learning when to act and when to wait. Waiting is not passive here, it is attentive. You are listening for the next instruction, not drifting aimlessly. Archangel Michael reassures you that guidance will come when needed, not a moment late. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Encourage yourself the way you would encourage someone you care about. Harsh self-talk weakens resolve. Truth spoken gently strengthens it. As this part of the message settles, something important is approaching. A realization that ties together what you felt at the beginning with how you are living now. Before you move on, remain present, because the next unfolding brings insight that connects the entire journey in a way you may not expect. Beloved soul, as this message unfolds further, you are stepping into a deeper awareness of cause and effect. What once felt abstract is now becoming tangible. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the stage where alignment begins to echo back to you through circumstances, choices, and subtle confirmations. You are starting to see the fruit of what you agreed to earlier, even if it is still forming. There is a quiet confidence growing inside you now. Not the kind that announces itself, but the kind that steadies your steps. You are less reactive than before. Situations that once pulled you into emotional turbulence now pass with less disturbance. This is not because you care less, but because you see more clearly. Archangel Michael speaks of spiritual authority that develops through consistency. Authority is not demanded, It is recognized. When you consistently choose truth over comfort, clarity over confusion, something within you takes its rightful place. You begin to trust yourself again, and that trust is foundational. You may notice that your intuition feels sharper. You sense when to move and when to wait without overanalyzing. This is not instinct alone. It is alignment. When your inner world is ordered, guidance flows naturally. Doubt loses its grip when trust becomes habitual. At this stage, you may be tempted to revisit old stories about yourself. Stories of limitation, failure, or missed opportunities. These stories may surface not to reclaim you, but to be released fully. Archangel Michael encourages you to observe them without engaging. You are no longer required to prove them wrong. Your life will do that naturally. There's also an invitation now to deepen your sense of responsibility without taking on unnecessary weight. Responsibility here does not mean burden. It means stewardship. You are learning to care for what has been entrusted to you: your time, your energy, your focus, your calling. This is where many people misunderstand growth. They assume it must always feel expansive or exciting. But true growth often feels grounded, stable, unremarkable on the surface. Yet this is the phase that determines longevity. Flash fades. Foundations endure. Archangel Michael reveals that your discernment is protecting you from paths that look appealing but would drain you over time. You may say no more often now, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Every no is making space for a truer yes. You might also feel a stronger pull toward authenticity. Pretenses feel uncomfortable. Half-truths feel heavy. You desire alignment not just in big decisions, but in everyday interactions. This is integrity becoming natural rather than force. As you continue, pay attention to how your body responds to choices. Peace often registers physically before it makes sense mentally. Edging is information. Ease is information. Your body has become a quieter, wiser messenger now that inner noise has reduced. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection is not always dramatic. Often, it looks like redirection, a conversation that does not happen, a door that does not open, a plan that falls through gently. These are not setbacks. They are safeguards. You are also learning that timing is collaborative. Heaven initiates, but you participate. When you act in alignment, momentum increases. When you hesitate out of fear, momentum slows. Not as punishment, but as feedback. This feedback is not meant to shame you, but to guide you. There may be moments when you wonder if you are doing enough. That question itself is a sign of care, but do not let it turn into pressure. Archangel Michael says faithfulness is not measured by exhaustion. It is measured by obedience and peace. This part of your journey teaches you restraint with your words and confidence with your actions. You do not need to convince everyone. You only need to remain consistent. Over time, consistency speaks louder than explanation ever could. You might notice that you are less interested in validation now. Praise feels pleasant but unnecessary. Criticism feels informative but not defining. This emotional balance is a sign of inner stability. You are no longer outsourcing your sense of direction. As this message settles, recognize how far you have come from the initial pause. What began as a moment of awareness has become a way of being. That is transformation. Divine. Deep. Lasting. Remain attentive. Remain grounded. The next unfolding will bring a layer of revelation that ties your inner alignment to outward impact in a meaningful way. Stay open, because what follows builds upon everything you have already embraced. My beloved child, as you enter this next unfolding, there is a noticeable shift from inner grounding to outward influence. Archangel Michael reveals that alignment is never meant to remain contained. What stabilizes within you is designed to ripple outward, touching decisions, relationships, and moments you may never fully see. This is where your journey begins to matter beyond you. You may already sense it. The way your words carry more weight now. The way people pause when you speak, even if they do not consciously know why. This is not authority taken, it is authority recognized. When truth lives in you consistently, it announces itself quietly through presence. Archangel Michael speaks of impact that does not seek attention. You are not being prepared to impress, but to influence. Influence happens when your life becomes a reference point for clarity. Others begin to ask how you remain steady. They notice your calm in situations that once created chaos. This is alignment made visible. At this stage, you may feel a tension between humility and confidence. You do not want to appear prideful, yet you know something has changed. Understand this. Honoring what God has done in you is not pride. Denying it is. Gratitude allows you to acknowledge growth without exalting yourself. There is also a responsibility that comes with this phase. Not to fix others, but to remain honest. When you live aligned, you give others permission to do the same. Your example becomes an invitation, not a demand. Archangel Michael says this is how true leadership forms. You may find that certain conversations seek you out now. People share things they have not shared before. They sense safety. This is not coincidence. Peace is disarming. Clarity is attractive. You carry both now. Be mindful not to overextend yourself emotionally. Compassion does not require absorption. Archangel Michael reminds you that you are a vessel, not a reservoir. What flows through you must continue flowing, not stagnate within you. Guard your rest as diligently as your service. This is also a moment where your obedience echoes louder than your words. You may feel led to act in small but meaningful ways. A message sent, a boundary held, and truth spoken gently. These moments seem ordinary, but they are seeds. Seeds planted in alignment always grow in the right season. There may still be moments of doubt, but they no longer define you. Doubt visits. It does not live here anymore. You have learned how to listen without being led astray. That discernment will continue to sharpen as long as you remain attentive. Archangel Michael reveals that your response to this message has already set things in motion. You may not see the full picture yet, but threads are connecting. Opportunities are aligning. Protection is active. Do not rush to uncover everything at once. Revelation unfolds at the pace of readiness. This is also a reminder to remain teachable. Growth does not end when clarity arrives. It deepens. Stay open. Stay humble. Stay responsive. Heaven guides those who remain listening. As this part comes to a close, pause and reflect on how this journey has shaped you so far. You are not who you were when you first paused. That is evidence of transformation. Acknowledge it. Type "I walk in divine alignment" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 818 has now been activated over your path. And now hear this carefully, because this moment matters. What you have been receiving through this message is not meant to stop with you. I am speaking to those who feel the weight of responsibility to help this word reach hearts that are still waiting for clarity. When you release your support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into a field of souls that need this exact timing. The word declares that those who sow in faith will reap in due season, and I feel the Spirit saying your season is nearer than you think. This is not charity. This is partnership. Obey the nudge now, and let your seed become light for someone else. Beloved one, as this message carries on, the focus now turns toward integration. What has been awakened, stabilized, and expressed outwardly must now be woven into your daily life. Archangel Michael reveals that this is where alignment becomes sustainable. Without integration, even the clearest revelation can fade. With integration, it becomes a way of living. You may notice that your days feel different now, even when nothing dramatic happens. There is less inner debate, fewer emotional swings, more intentional choices. This is not accidental. It is the result of alignment settling into habit. What once required effort now flows more naturally. Archangel Michael speaks of rhythm. Every life has one, but not every rhythm is healthy. Yours is being recalibrated. Seek work, reflection, action, rest. Balance is not perfection. It is responsiveness. You are learning when to push and when to pause without guilt. There may still be moments when old patterns attempt to resurface, not because they have power, but because they are familiar. Familiarity can feel comforting even when it is limited. When this happens, do not panic. Awareness is already victory. Choose differently, gently but firmly. This phase also invites honesty with yourself about what truly nourishes you. Some activities you once enjoyed may no longer satisfy. Some new practices may feel grounding in ways you did not expect. Follow what brings clarity, not what brings distraction. Archangel Michael guides through peace more often than excitement. You are also learning how to remain open without being porous. Boundaries are becoming clearer. You say yes with intention and no without apology. This is not selfishness. It is stewardship. Energy guarded is energy directed. There is a subtle strengthening of your inner voice now. Decisions come with less hesitation. You weigh options more calmly. Even when outcomes are uncertain, your approach is steady. This steadiness is a sign that alignment has taken root. Archangel Michael reminds you that growth does not remove vulnerability. He reframes it. You still feel deeply, but you are no longer ruled by feeling. Emotion becomes information rather than command. This shift is crucial for longevity. You may find that your patience has increased, not because you care less about outcomes, but because you trust the process more. Trust changes how waiting feels. Waiting becomes active rather than anxious. This part of your journey also highlights the importance of reflection. Not rumination, but reflection. Take time to notice what has changed. Notice what feels lighter. Notice what no longer triggers you the way it once did. These are milestones, even if they are quiet. Archangel Michael speaks of gratitude again, not as obligation, but as recognition. Gratitude grounds you in reality. It reminds you that progress has occurred, even if the destination is still unfolding. Gratitude protects against discouragement. There may be days when you feel invisible in your growth, when no one comments, affirms, or notices. Those days matter. Alignment that depends on recognition is fragile. Alignment that stands without applause is strong. You are also learning discernment in consumption. What you watch, listen to, read, and entertain. These inputs shape inner atmosphere. You are becoming selective, not rigid. You choose what supports clarity over what numbs awareness. Archangel Michael reveals that this integration phase prepares you for something more defined ahead. Structure requires stability. Influence requires integrity. You are being shaped quietly so that what comes next does not overwhelm you. As this message continues, remain attentive to small adjustments. Alignment is often maintained through small, consistent corrections rather than major overhauls. Gentle course corrections keep you on path. You do not need to rush ahead. You are not behind. You are exactly in the stage that allows what is coming to last. Trust that. Let this awareness settle into your routine. Let it guide your choices without strain. Alignment that is lived daily becomes second nature. There is more to come, and it builds upon this foundation. Stay present. Stay receptive. The next unfolding will bring clarity about how this journey connects to others and to a larger purpose beyond what you have seen so far. My dear one, as this message unfolds further, you are entering a stage where alignment begins to express itself through decision-making with greater confidence. Archangel Michael reveals that what once felt uncertain now carries a quieter assurance. You may not have all the details, but you have direction. And direction is more powerful than certainty. You are beginning to recognize when something is for you and when it is not, without needing to analyze it endlessly. This discernment is a gift refined through obedience. It saves time, energy, and emotional strain. Archangel Michael stands beside you here, strengthening your ability to choose without fear of missing out. At this point in your journey, distractions may attempt to reassert themselves. Not aggressively, but subtly. Old habits presenting themselves as comfort. Old thought patterns resurfacing as logic. This is not regression. It is a final examination of what truly holds your attention now. Notice how different your response is. You no longer feel compelled to engage everything that appears. Selectivity has become natural. This is wisdom. When alignment is strong, temptation loses its urgency. There is also a growing sense of responsibility around your influence. You are more aware that your choices affect more than just you. Even in small ways, your steadiness creates space for others to breathe. Archangel Michael says this is how leadership forms, quietly, through example rather than instruction. You may feel a pull to simplify further. Fewer commitments. Clearer intentions. Less noise. This is not withdrawal from life. It is refinement within it. Clarity thrives in simplicity. This phase also challenges you to remain consistent when motivation fluctuates. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is intentional. Archangel Michael reminds you that faithfulness carries you through seasons when feelings change. Do not wait to feel inspired to do what you already know is right. There may be moments when progress feels invisible, when days blend together without obvious markers of advancement. Just that unseen growth is still growth. Roots deepen in darkness. Stability forms in repetition. You are also learning how to recover quickly. Mistakes no longer derail you for long. You adjust, learn, and continue. This resilience is a sign of maturity. Shame has less influence here because awareness has increased. Archangel Michael speaks now of trust in the process you are living. A blind trust, but informed trust. You have seen enough evidence of alignment to know you are not walking aimlessly. Let that knowledge steady you. As this message resonates, allow yourself to engage with it actively. If these words are helping anchor you, take a moment to like this video so the message can reach others who are navigating similar transitions. Share it with someone who may need reassurance or clarity right now. Leave a comment affirming what this season is teaching you, because articulation strengthens understanding. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected, because what is unfolding here is part of a larger continuum of guidance and protection. Before moving forward, pause internally. There is another layer coming that ties together everything you have experienced so far. Keep watching, because what follows brings perspective that can reframe how you see your past and your path ahead. Archangel Michael reminds you that you are not meant to carry this journey alone. Community, when aligned, becomes reinforcement. Wisdom shared becomes wisdom multiplied. Stay connected to what nourishes your clarity. There is also a reminder here to remain compassionate with yourself. Growth is not linear. Some days will feel strong. Others will feel quiet. Both are valid. Do not measure your worth by productivity or emotion. Measure it by alignment. As you continue, notice how your inner language has changed. You speak to yourself with more patience now, less accusation, more honesty. This internal shift is foundational. The way you speak internally shapes how you move externally. You are nearing a point where understanding deepens into purpose. The next unfolding will connect your personal alignment to a broader meaning. Stay present. Stay receptive. The clarity you have been cultivating is about to reveal why this journey mattered in the first place. Beloved child, as this message continues, you are arriving at a place where understanding turns into meaning. What once felt like isolated moments now begins to form a pattern. Archangel Michael reveals that nothing you have walked through was separate or random. Every pause, every shift, every inner correction had been shaping a larger purpose that is now coming into view. You may feel reflective during this phase. Thoughts about your past surface, not to accuse you, but to be reinterpreted. Events that once felt like detours now show themselves as training. Delays that frustrated you now appear as protection. This reframing is not denial of pain. It is redemption of it. Archangel Michael speaks gently here because this is a tender realization. You were never abandoned in the moments you thought you were lost. You were being guided through terrain that required strength you did not yet know you had. Only now can you see how carefully you were carried. There is a deepening respect forming within you for your own journey. You stop judging yourself by who you were before clarity arrived. You understand that awareness comes in layers, not all at once. Compassion for your past self grows, and with it, peace. This stage brings reconciliation. Not necessarily with everyone, but within yourself. You stop fighting your own story. You stop wishing parts of it away. Instead, you begin to see how even the difficult chapters contributed to your discernment, empathy, and resilience. Archangel Michael reveals that this internal reconciliation is essential before outward purpose can fully express itself. A divided heart cannot move forward freely. Unity within creates momentum without strain. You may notice that you are less reactive when reminded of old wounds. Triggers lose their sharpness. Memories no longer demand emotion. This does not mean you forgot. It means you healed enough to remember without reliving. There is also a sense of sobriety that comes with this awareness. Not heaviness, but seriousness of intent. You recognize that your life carries weight. Not pressure, but significance. Choices matter because they ripple beyond you. This realization may feel grounding rather than exciting, and that is good. Excitement can be fleeting. Grounded purpose endures. Archangel Michael says this is where many people search outwardly for meaning, not realizing it had been forming inwardly all along. You may feel less urgency to prove yourself now. Validation feels unnecessary. Your life no longer needs to make sense to everyone. It only needs to remain aligned. This freedom is quiet but profound. There is also an invitation here to forgive more deeply, not as obligation but as release. Forgiveness does not excuse what hurt you. It releases you from carrying its weight forward. Archangel Michael reminds you that carrying unnecessary weight slows purpose. You might sense a subtle call to prepare, not in panic but in readiness. Preparation now looks like clarity of values, simplicity of focus, and consistency of character. The next season will require steadiness more than speed. Pay attention to what you feel drawn to nurture. Certain skill, certain relationships, certain discipline. These are not random interests. They are pieces of what you will be asked to carry forward. Archangel Michael speaks of stewardship again, but now in a broader sense. You are stewarding not just insight, but influence. Even if your influence feels small now, it is real. How you speak, act, and choose matters. There may be moments of silence ahead that feel intentional rather than empty. Do not rush to fill them. Silence at this stage is often space being made for instruction. Remain attentive without anxiety. As this part of the message settles, you may feel both gratitude and resolve. Gratitude for how far you have come. Resolve for how intentionally you want to live next. This balance is healthy. It keeps you humble and focused. You are close to a culminating understanding, one that ties timing, decision, and response together into a clear call. Do not disengage now. Remain present. What follows brings closure to what began when you first paused and opened this message. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything comes together. What began with a pause now completes its purpose. Archangel Michael stands with clarity and finality, not to pressure you, but to affirm what has already been decided within you. This message appeared when it did because you were ready to receive it fully, and now you are ready to carry it forward. You have moved through awareness, alignment, stability, and purpose. Each phase prepared you for this closing understanding. Responding in time did not just change circumstances, it changed you. You are no longer waiting for permission, signs, or reassurance. You have learned to recognize truth when it rises quietly in your spirit. Archangel Michael reveals that January 28 was never about urgency alone. It was about recognition. Recognition of your readiness. Recognition of your authority. Recognition of the fact that you are no longer the same person who once hesitated at every crossroads. You have learned how to pause, listen, and respond with intention. What changes now is subtle but lasting. You move forward without dragging the weight of old indecision. You trust the clarity you receive instead of questioning it into silence. You allow peace to guide you instead of fear. This is not dramatic transformation. It is durable transformation. You may not see immediate fireworks in the external world, but internally, something has been sealed. A pattern has been broken. A cycle has been completed. Archangel Michael confirms that what once repeated will no longer return in the same way, because you will not respond in the same way. There is also a deeper peace settling now. Not relief, but assurance. Relief fades quickly. Assurance remains steady. You know how to move when the next decision comes. You know how to pause without freezing. You know how to act without rushing. This knowledge is earned. As you look ahead, do not expect the path to be free of challenge. Expect it to be free of confusion. Challenge is refined. Confusion drains. You have been delivered from confusion, and that is a powerful protection. Archangel Michael reminds you that obedience is not a one-time act. It is a posture, a way of living attentively. You have stepped into that posture now. Maintain it gently. Do not turn it into pressure. Alignment thrives in grace. There will be moments when you are tempted to doubt again. That is human. When it happens, return to what you felt when you first paused. Return to the stillness. Truth does not change even when emotions fluctuate. You are now released to move forward without carrying this message as a burden. It has done its work. Let it inform you, not bind you. Let it strengthen you, not weigh you down. Archangel Michael's final word in this moment is simple: walk steadily. You do not need to run. You do not need to look back. What is ahead will meet you as you move with integrity. Take a moment and acknowledge this completion. Completion is holy. It marks transition. Honor it. Type "I step forward in trust" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1212 has now been activated over your life. I am speaking to those who feel a responsibility to help this word continue reaching those who are still standing at their moment of decision. When you support this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal donation link in the description, you are sowing directly into lives that need this clarity at the right time. Scripture declares that God gives seed to the sower, and I sense Him speaking to you now, calling you to act without delay. This is not a donation. It is obedience responding to revelation. I bless every seed you release to return multiplied, protected, and filled with peace. Move now and let your support become part of someone else's answered prayer.